Absolutely. The Meramec, as we see it as St. Louisans, we don't always connect it with its origins in the Ozarks. So the Meramec River is really the Ozarks close to home. And a lot of us talk about going floating, using the Ozarks and the beauty in the Ozarks. Well, the Meramec has all of those attributes, and it's right here in our area.
What is the significance of a major waterway like this on our region, would you say?
Well, to build on what Steve said, the Meramec is pretty unusual. It's for being an important water source for the city of St. Louis. 340,000 households, according to Missouri American Water, get their water from the Meramec River. That's a lot of people who depend on a good quality of water. Draining from the Ozarks, we were talking about watersheds earlier. The watershed for the Meramec is in pretty good shape, and that's unusual for such a large city. And I think that's a real resource that we need to be thinking about how we can best protect that into the future as we build as a community, as we build in our urban centers and our suburban centers, and doing things like the stream cleanup. And the history of decades of worth of stewardship that we've had on the river, especially stuff that the Open Space Council has been a part of, I think is a big part of that. We have to recognize that it is an important water source for us. Protecting that watershed and being engaged matters.
I should have asked you this at the beginning of the show. Where do we get the rest of our water, just to be clear? I mean, is it coming out of which other river or the ground?
We're getting it from all of the major river sources: Missouri, Mississippi, Meramec, or some well waters.
St. Louis gets most of its water from the city?
I'm not quite sure. Mississippi, Missouri River.
Okay.
And alluvial wells, and also directly from the rivers.
Okay. I felt like that was something I just want to make sure we had clear. So do you see it as a success? And we saw the backhoes with the trash. That's a pretty good visual right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about earlier, over the last 10 years, our volunteers have pulled out almost 20,000 tires alone, and recycled those. So
amazing.
While we have seen big progress, we're still working, as Holly spoke earlier, to change the mindsets of people who live in these communities and really try and find a sense of ownership. We want people to really own their watershed, to own the Meramec and the Missouri and the Mississippi also. We really, we were talking about what makes the Meramec. Well, this is definitely the recreation stream, the recreation river in Missouri. That brings a ton of economic dollars in. It brings a lot of jobs in, and it really helps promote, connectedness to nature. So we think it's really a great step in the right direction, and I think we're going to continue to see positive growth on the Meramec and in community stewardship.
And I think there's better recognition of that, or there's growing recognition, better said, about why watershed health, from the float trips and people who go fishing in the upper portions of the watershed and even in the lower portions, why that can make an economic difference, not just from recreational fishing or float trips, but for your brass tacks, what your water bill is, for example. There's innovative techniques that we have called water funds that areas like New York City and the Cascades and even some other areas in the country are looking to have major water users pay for stewardship in the upper portions of their watersheds to keep that water in good condition. It benefits the people, benefits them when they process the water, keeps those costs down for water processing. It takes a lot of money to process dirty water.
It might cost our farmers more, though, to have to worry about what is running off. Are there some downsides here? I mean, can this be cumbersome for us as a society too?
It's not always easy. But the practices, we have known good practices that work on our agricultural lands to do the right thing while at the same time providing the water and the resources that our farmers need to grow our food. It's there. These are not new, completely out of the blue sky issues and problems to resolve. We've got some real good answers available. It's just having the will to get in there and do them.
The rest of our guests are not being